Alright, so our first thing we're going to be going to is the Nightmare Gallery. So we have this guy over here. Looks pretty big. He's in a cage. Pretty awesome. What's this? Alright. Pretty awesome. Look at that. Let's go inside. Vampires, zombies, phantoms. Wow. So awesome. Alright, so this is the witch. This is the witch museum, Dad. Dad,
huh?
This is the witch museum.
This is just the entry to it.
Oh. Oh, okay, so more stuff back there.
All pages and cell phones. If they go off, you'll be asked to leave the door.
Huh?
Yes.
Mom, do you have your phone turned off?
Yeah. It's not in here, son. It's when you go on the floor.
Oh. So,
you should get one of these.
I know. It'd be awesome. Oh. So soft.
Thick for your neck.
I was sitting at like one of their tables and we got a picture here. I literally was the most student. I went with $20 and I went to the spot like earlier. I'm Sean. Love you.
Wax. So this is the wax museum. It looks cool. It's all awesome. This is awesome stuff.
For both.
This one.
No, it's 2 attractions.
That's a SALEM distributor. It's pretty awesome. I know. Is this the oldest graveyard you were talking about?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, really?
1766.
Oh. Awesome.
John Crown's.
No graves are here. So basically we're walking right on top of them. It's neat. Alright.
Oldest one in the country,
And you can barely read these. Oh, Mary Ward, the wife of Benjamin Ward, died April 30th, 1790. April 30th, 1790 or 1799. Not sure. Can't really tell. Oh wow, these are really old. In memory of Benjamin Ward. Died November 16th, 1776. Cap Josh, I don't even know how to say it, 1789. This is in memory of Cap Joseph, who died June 17th, 89. So these graves are basically right underneath us. Awesome. What's this? Oh, can't even read it. I don't know how much I can record because in that house I lost a lot of battery power because in the Frankenstein thing I lost a lot of battery power because I left my thing on by accident. I left my camera on by accident. I was expecting to record, but when they, because basically what they do is they take you in and then they shut the door, and then it's like pitch black and the only thing you can see is basically stairs which are supposed to go down, and it's very hard to see. Like I took my shades off and I knew I wouldn't be able to record because anyone who does YouTube videos and they record, they know that sometimes the camera is darker than what you're actually seeing in real life. So, like the lens is normally darker, so I knew it was going to be pitch black and I wouldn't be able to see anything, or you guys wouldn't be able to see anything. I could barely see anything. So, right. Memory of Joseph Saul. Can't even read that. August 13th, 1820. I think. That's it. Many more graves we gotta look at. Ooh. There's some flies on it. See? Wow. In memory of Miss Hannah Rose, who died January 17th, 1796, aged 61 years. Wow. Memory of Rose. Right. Wow, this is pretty neat. Some are tall, some are just tilted sideways, or frontward or backward just because they're so old. But that one you can't even read. Hey, one of these we can actually read. Dan Hero's Tomb depicted. I don't know how to say that. Alright. I don't know if you can see, but there's some water down there. Alright. It's either because the graveyard's making me stuffy or I have a cold. I think I have a cold. Alright. Oh wait. I don't know. I don't know what's on the right side. But this one. Oh, and this is one of the older graves, and you can't really even. You can actually read it. D. John Hunt died November 23rd, 1817. Well, it's older. The death date is older than some of the others. So, John Herbert Tucker. I don't know. So let's get in the shade so we can see more, read it more clearly. Can't even see that one. Oh wait a minute, yes I can. In memory of Miss Hannah Savyad, I don't know. Some of these are just not printed correctly because my dad says it's the oldest graveyard in the United States. It's in Salem. Pretty neat, and look at this. All these stones are just broken off. That people didn't even do that. Well, that's just weird. There's only one marker now. Did I get this one? No. Samuel Y. Hosmer died April 26, 1844, age 44. Alright. I thought it said 14 for a second. Alright. Mary, daughter of Joseph and Hannah Hosmer, died December 1st, 1795, aged 1 year, 4 months, aged 1 year, 4 months, 6 days. What? 1 year, 4 months, 6 days. Alright. The reason I'm reading all these stones is, wow, that's a weird looking tree, and it's tall too. The only reason why I'm reading all these gravestones to you guys is if you're wondering who's here and stuff, because this town has tons of history in it. Plus, the carvings here aren't. They once were written well, and I'm not even gonna try to read that. It's way too long on a gravestone, and plus it's all faded. Because I know you guys know it's so old that you can barely read any of it. Let's see the. Alright, I can just go around. Let's see. Wow, that's a long one too. Alright. Mortem Vitae Sequens, I think. It was inscribed by his family to the memory of George Williams, who was born at Salem, February 10th, in AD, and died June 12th, 1797, I think. I'm getting this all mixed up. Oh look, something over there. Oh wow. I gotta check out some of the ones over there. They're all old. Wow, this one's extremely old. Ow. I can't read those ones. Wow. It's creepy. But, I mean, I'm super spirit. I love it. All my subscribers probably love it too. Wow. Ah. Right. There's tons of things here. Oh, pathway. to the memory of. Anyway, Salem is a nice place to visit if you have any free time. It's summer right now, so really good place to visit while you have free time. But it's just a nice place to come in, relax. It's not necessarily a paradise, but it's a nice place to go. So if you have free time, I suggest you stop by. And this one's probably the smallest gravestone I've ever seen. Wow. Alright. Is that even supposed to be a gravestone, or is that... I don't know. Anyway, that's probably the weirdest tree I've ever seen. That does not look right. I have the feeling that when the hurricane hit, if it did hit Salem, that's why this tree is like this, because, wow. Oh yeah. Oh, because the branches are broken and stuff. Anyway. Correction, I think this might be the smallest. Nope, even another correction. The smallest. Oh my god, I keep on getting more corrections. This. I think that, since that one's mostly buried, I think this one is the smallest gravestone I've ever seen. And if that's even a gravestone, I am not sure. I'm just gonna go with the ones that I know for sure that are gravestones, which are those ones. That one's just lonely. So, I like it here. It's just peaceful, sort of. Nothing here, just old tombs, I guess. Those people I just walked by probably think I'm crazy just talking to myself. Yeah, they probably don't know I'm recording. Even though it's probably obvious that I am, because I have a freaking video camera in my hand, but I'm not sure they got it. But anyway, oh, there's more back here. Can you even go back here? So much. Wow. It's amazing. Oh. Time to start ducking, I guess. Oh. These must be famous people because this one's all locked up. Oh. Yep. Pretty big ones. I like the symbol on that one, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I don't think there's any more attractions. If there are, I just won't record it, but like I said before, Salem is a very nice place to go and visit if you're having a free time. And you have to just sit around, walk, quite a peaceful walk, like I've said. But spend time with your family over here. It's a really nice place. Yeah. Yeah, that's nothing more to sort of celebrate this video and my channel besides walking through a graveyard that is shaded over by a tree or trees. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and you're thinking of I don't know, if you're thinking of you and your family are meeting up here or something, like this video, share it with your friends so you and your friends can meet up, and just a really nice, peaceful place to go, and know a lot about the history of this place, because it's very, very historic. So yeah. I know. Anyway. Also, if you guys are at Salem or are going to Salem and plan on recording from this video, make a video response to this. So that's about it. Huh?
Did you walk right across the something like that?
Oh, sorry. Anyway. Yep. Like and join the circus, subscribe. See you guys. Bye.
Times have come here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, baby, take my hand. We'll be able to fly. Baby, I'm your man. La 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 la.
Yeah.
So to start, we'll start with Dixie Bull, the man in the back with long hair and fur jacket. Dixie was New England's very first pirate. He did not start out as a pirate. He started out as a fur trader from Maine. And one day, in 1632, he ran across a group of French pirates. They stole everything from Dixie and left him completely broke and with nothing. But once he saw how easy it was for them to rob him, he decided he'd give it a try. So he turned to a life of piracy. His last known act was out of here in Salem, where he kidnapped a man, brought him aboard his ship, told him to navigate him to Virginia, and if he wouldn't, he would kill him. The man didn't like his options, so he jumped overboard and swam back to shore. Dixie sailed off and was never seen from again alive. But 2 years later, out of England came a poem. The first line reading, "Pirates your flag, anchors pull. Dan Curtis killed your Dixie Bull." Now some people but since no one saw him, we'll never know. And next, behind the ship's wheel, we have Black Sam Bellamy. Black Sam Bellamy was a treasure hunter from Wellfleet, Massachusetts on Cape Cod, but he was a horrible treasure hunter. In fact, he never found any treasure at all. He wanted to get rich, so he decided if he couldn't find treasure, he was going to steal treasure. So he turned to a life of piracy. Eventually, he became captain of a ship called the Widow. In 1717, on a return voyage to Cape Cod, he hit a nasty nor'easter. He lost everything that day. He lost his ship, his treasure, his crew, and his life. His treasure was worth about $200 million. So, good pirate, bad treasure hunter. In 1985, the wreckage of the Widow was discovered, just 200 yards offshore in only 20 feet of water. $30 million of the gold has been recovered, but the rest is still down with the wreck. It's in the form of gold dust at this point, so it's nearly impossible to retrieve. But they're still working on it. And we do have a coin from the wreck in the black frame. The next in he was three things: a pirate chief, a maniac, and a psychopathic killer. And one day, him and his crew overtook 14 vessels, which was unheard of for the time. He cut the ears off the man, dipped him in salt, force-fed him back to him, and then killed him. He also overtook the Spanish ship the Montecova, where he personally slaughtered 53 people on board. He cut out the heart of the first mate, force-fed it to another man, and then killed him. Now, eventually his crew got sick of living in fear from him, so they mutinied. And they placed him in a boat similar to the one you see there, minus the sail and supplies, and sent him adrift in the middle of the ocean. They thought the elements would get the best of them, but they were wrong. Just 2 days later, a French naval ship sailing by spotted him and picked him up. But once on board, they noticed the pirate that he was, so they gave him a swift hanging on deck. So he was just rescued to be executed. Not so lucky. Then up here we have Rachel Walls. Rachel worked as a team with her husband, George. Rachel was a maid from Beacon Hill in Boston. George was a fisherman aboard a privateer ship. One day, they got sick of their mundane lives, so they decided to steal a ship out of Essex, Mass, and get a pirate crew of 4 and sail to the Isles of Shoals, which is in between Maine and New Hampshire. There, they pretended to be a fishing family. They did fish sometimes, but what they were most known for is using an old trick of nets. They had made their ship look like it had been through a horrible storm. Rachel would stand by the mast, screaming for help, waving a distress flag, as her husband and crew hid below deck. When a vessel got close enough to help Rachel, they'd pop up, attack, kill everybody aboard the other ship, steal their valuables, and then sink it, so there was no evidence of what they were doing. Between 1781 and 1782, they were able to overtake 12 vessels. But karma's funny with Rachel. One day she needed to be saved. She found herself caught in the middle of a hurricane. Her husband and crew were washed overboard, never to be seen from alive again. Rachel was rescued and returned to a life as a maid in Boston, but she couldn't get that pirating blood out of her veins. So she was often seen sneaking around Boston's harbor side, boarding visiting vessels, stealing anything she could find. Food, money, valuables, basically anything that wasn't nailed down. But at age 29, she was caught red-handed, aboard a ship with a dead man. She claimed she never killed this man up until her dying day, but she was tried and convicted and hung in Boston Common October 8, 1789. She was the last woman hung in Massachusetts, and also the last known pirate to use the Isles of Shoals as a home base. Now if you guys would like to follow me, we can enter Old Salem Village. Welcome to Old Salem Village. As you can tell, you're standing on solid ground. But 300 years ago, that would not have been the case. Salem's harbor waters actually came up to this very spot, and the happy entrance here would have docked somewhere in this area. Now, pirates liked Salem's harbor for 3 reasons. At the time, it was larger than Boston's, so it was easy for them to get in and out of undetected. It's also by Lynn, Massachusetts, where the pirates would hide in the Lynn Woods and also bury their treasure. And 3, it had the Blue Anchor Tavern. The Blue Anchor Tavern was New England's very first tavern. Late at night, pirates would sneak down and get a few drinks. Well, a few drinks turned into a few too many. Then they started telling stories about their lives as pirates. The tavern owner had a deal with the pirates. Who could ever tell the best pirating story would win the room above, free of charge, for 1 night. What the pirates didn't know was that room was a converted jail cell. So when the pirates would awake, they'd be surrounded by police and escorted back to Boston or England for a swift hanging. This made the Blue Anchor Tavern one of New England's very first sting operations. Then over here we have an example of a hanging. Up in the gallows we have William Fly. We don't know too much about William Fly because he had one of the shortest known pirating careers. He only lasted 1 month, but he had a very peculiar execution. The day he was executed, he wore a medal to show he was once a prize-winning boxer. He also brought his executioner a bouquet of flowers to show the crowd he wasn't always a bad guy. When the noose was placed around his neck, he noticed he could tie a better one. So he took his noose off, untied it, tied his own noose, and fastened it around his neck. He then proceeded to yell at his executioner for not knowing his trade. His executioner had enough of them, so he pulled the lever, and that was the end of William Fly. The next in the cage, we have Captain William Kidd. You may have heard the name Captain Kidd before. There's been a lot of plays and movies written about him. Captain Kidd did not start out as a pirate. He started out as a privateersman, which is basically a legal pirate, somebody hired by the government in times of war to go after enemies or pirates and kill them. Captain Kidd was hired to go after Blackbeard, but he couldn't find Blackbeard. Then for a while, no one could find Captain Kidd. Once Captain Kidd saw how rich pirates were, he made the transition. from privateer captain to pirate captain. He was captured one day in Boston and sent to England, where he was hanged twice. The first time, his news broke, and he fell unharmed into the mud below. The crowd saw this as a sign from God that he was innocent and should be set free. The executioner saw as a sign he needed to buy a better rope, so he brought him back up to the gallows, tied a new noose, and got it right the second time. Then they did a process to his body called gibbeting. It's when they dipped his body in boiling hot tar. This preserved it, kind of like a mummy effect. Then they placed him in a cage similar to the one you see there and hung him over the harbor for 2 years until there was nothing left but bones, to ward off other pirates not to pull into port and for fishermen not to turn to a life of piracy, otherwise they'd end up the same fate. Then on a lighter note, the man in the blue jacket is Thomas Tew. Thomas Tew was an oddity in the pirate world. If there was ever such thing as a nice pirate, he would have been it. He believed in selling his ship out of respect, not fear. It said he was so good to his men that men would leave their wives and slaves would run from their masters to join his crew. The governor of New York at the time was even quoted saying that Tew was a wonderful man and a great storyteller. The governor lost his job after this for being too friendly with pirates, and Tew lost his life when he was boarding an enemy vessel and caught a cannonball in his stomach. Then he wasn't a very good pirate. In fact, he spent more time behind bars than he did out in the water. But he got quite the name of being an escape artist. Every morning when the jailer would go check on Joe, Joe wouldn't be there, but the locks would be untampered with, no holes in the floors or walls, and the bars completely intact. Nobody knew how Joe was getting out, so they came up with the conclusion Joe was a witch practicing black magic. We pull up in court today. But an internal investigation was then launched, and they noticed that the jailer was also Joe's uncle. So late at night, his uncle was just setting him free. Needless to say, his uncle was fired immediately, and next time Joe was captured, he was sent to England, where he was executed next to Captain Kidd and gibbeted as well. Now, if you want to follow me, we can board the Charles. Welcome aboard the Charles. The Charles did not start out as a pirate ship, it started out as a privateer ship, captained by this man here, Captain Plowman. Captain Plowman was sent to Marblehead by Governor Dudley to find a crew of God-fearing men. But only after 2 days in Marblehead, Plowman wrote back to Dudley saying he could not find a single God-fearing man in Marblehead. Dudley didn't like this. He was from Marblehead. So he wrote back saying find anybody you can and get on your way. So he found this motley crew. But the very same day they were sailing out Salem's harbor, before they left port, the crew mutinied. They won the ship as a pirate ship. So they threw Plowman overboard and he was never seen or heard from again. The mutiny was led by this man here, Jack Welch. Jack was a clever man. He sailed the ship under the Portuguese flag. Portugal was known as a friendly trading country, so other trading vessels had no problem sailing up next to him wanting to trade. When they got close enough, he would lower the flag and raise the Jolly Roger. This gave his crew the advantage of also attacking with fear. Now his crew came to their end when they were caught in the middle of broad daylight on the Isles of Shoals burying their treasure. They were all killed, but Jack here got away unharmed. He ran to the Blue Anchor Tavern, where he had a few too many drinks and won the room upstairs. And we know how that goes. Now when I say Jolly Roger, most people think of the skull and crossbones. That's not quite the case. Many pirates sailed under a solid black flag or a solid red flag. They also had their own individual flags. And we have examples around the room from pirates in this area. The first one, the arm and the sword, was Thomas Tew's. The arm represents the unity of his men, and the sword was their willingness to fight. Then across the room on this side, we have Ned Lowe's. It shows Ned with the devil and an hourglass, to show his victim's time is running out. Welcome to the hold of the ship. The hold of the ship is where the pirates will eat, sleep, drink, and count their treasure. When you boarded a pirate ship, you had to sign something, called the Articles of Agreement. The Articles of Agreement dealt with the division of treasure and also had a few rules in it. When treasure was brought on board, the captain would get to take the first share. He got to take as much as he wanted, but he had to be careful. If he took too much, then a mutiny occurred, and that was every captain's nightmare. The first mate got to take a share and a half, and then everybody else would divide up the rest amongst themselves. There was a way to get a bonus. It was called the crewman's bonus. It's if you lost a hand, eye, or leg in service of your ship. That's why you see so many common day characters with a patch eye, hook hand, or peg leg. Many pirates tried to use this to save up and start a better life on land and retire from a life of piracy. It's only if they survived disease and infection, of course. Also in the articles, it stated no women were allowed below deck, no drinking on the job, and no gambling with real money aboard the ship. Welcome to the Squirrel. The Squirrel was not a pirate ship, it was a fishing vessel out of Gloucester, Massachusetts, captained by the man with the axe in his hand, Andrew Harding. One day, when Andrew and his men just left Gloucester's port, they were attacked by John Phillip, the man you see there, and over there, and his crew of pirates. They thought they were going to find valuables aboard. They were wrong. All they found were fish. John was quite unhappy, so he gave Andrew and his men the option: become pirates or die. He'd give them 1 hour to decide their fate. John left the boat, but left his crew of pirates aboard to watch over Andrew and his men. Now when John was off the boat, Andrew must have gave an amazing speech, because he convinced the pirates to mutiny against their captain and for his men to fight for their freedom when John reboarded. So when he did, Andrew was able to steal his axe, decapitate him with it, take his head, nail it to the top of his mast, and sail victoriously back into Gloucester's harbor, to show don't mess with the squirrel and don't mess with Andrew Harding. Now a couple interesting facts about the scene is Andrew Harding's great-great-grandson became a Revolutionary War hero. And this pirate here in the red scarf is John Fillmore, and his great-great-grandson became the 13th President of the United States. Does anybody have any questions I might be able to answer? Well, if there's no questions, that's it for my portion of your tour. I'll send you down into the pirates' caves, and if you survive, you'll exit through the gift shop.
What do you jump like on the me?
Alright, so that's a nice view. Really nice view. Have you seen this lately? Nice view. Really nice view. I know, that dog was following him around. That boat is awesome. It's pretty tall too.
You had to sail.
Huh?
Imagine when these were the ships that you sailed around.
I know.
They rocked back and forth.
I know.
Get you on a ship. Not this one.
That is just a nice view. What does that mean the camera's panning too fast?
It means you're moving too fast.
It's gonna try into us to win.
The boat.
Look to the boat.
What? Hey guys, Circus Spirit here, and we are now at the House of Seven Gables, my dad said, or something like that, and it's pretty neat. I guess a historic site, and looks pretty neat. So. Right.
Some kind of spoon with a flag.
Oh yeah,
thing,
it's moving.
Right. So this is the House of Seven Gables, or the House of Seven Gables. I don't know whatever that sign says. Turns out gables are like these points in the house or something. I'm not sure. But I think it has 2 chimneys. Yeah, 2 chimneys, and I think if you look up in that window, or somewhere, one of these windows is actually a candlelight. So let me see if I can actually just get a peek of inside. Can't really, you just can see the doors messed up, but some of the paint or some of the wood is like chipped off, but pretty neat. That will actually end. We also have some older houses down here, but anyway, a nice ocean view. Anyway, but if you want to